a lot of people are too scared to ask questions, or, one thing that I know from just my career and stuff is people are very scared to be wrong or ask what they may think is a dumb question. You know what I mean?
No, that was
And I'm
me.
like,
Yeah.
yeah. And I'm like, dude, like my entire career, I've always asked questions. If I don't understand something, I ask a question.
Hola, what's up, everybody? My name's Adrian Garcia. Welcome and welcome back to the Reliable HVACR podcast, brought to you by Jobber, my favorite CRM. If you guys need to get organized, better manage your business, Jobber is the perfect app for that. It's on your phone, it's on your tablet, it's on your computer, anywhere you have internet access, and you can invoice, quote, do your maintenance agreements, schedule jobs, get this customer hub where you can interact with your customers, send out reminders. It does so much for your business to help you free up your time at the end of the day. So if you guys want a free trial and discount, you can go to getjobber.com/reliable HVACR. Then we have VETO Pro Pack. I cannot tell you how many bags that I went through before finding out about this company with these high quality bags. If you guys want some good bags, some good tool bags, and really any bag you can think of, go to vetopropack.com. Ever since I've gotten their bags, they've lasted forever. All of our guys at our company have switched over to them. We've gotten them tool bags, backpacks, you name it, because VETO has it. So ever since I switched over, my bags have lasted so much more. I love the variety and the different uses for these bags. I mean, you can get creative with it. So like I said, go check out vetopropack.com. Go look for a bag for yourself. Right now they're having a spring promo. It's basically buy one, get one free. So take advantage of that. You won't regret it. Now, if you guys are listening to this on audio podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to it, please leave a 5-star review. I would really appreciate that. If you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, like, and comment this video if you enjoyed it. And I hope you guys are enjoying the podcast. I really love doing this. Great way to meet and talk to a lot of these guys, get their stories out. And I appreciate you guys for tuning in and making this what it is. On tonight's episode, we have Jamie, also known as northwestHVAC, over on Instagram. I know he was also building up his YouTube and TikTok, so I'll leave all of that in the description if you want to go check him out. He has some viral videos over on Instagram and really great content on installs, mini splits, piping, a lot of cool different and good work that he does. So in this episode, we talk about his jump into running his own business, doing his own thing, all that stuff. And very cool dude. I got to meet him at one of the AHR expos a couple years back. Always, looking out for people, helping out, part of that great online community, the HVAC community, and just a really cool dude. So I know he talks a lot about service or preference on service versus install, but this dude does really impeccable install work too. So, we'll talk about all that good stuff, and I hope you guys enjoy the show. All right, Jamie, man, how are you?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm good. How's life? How's everything?
It's good, man. It's been a slow start to the year, but which was kind of surprising. But
Yeah.
it's been good.
I
Still
just
blessed.
Yeah, for sure, man. I just finished doing the HVAC nights show with the guys, and they kind of do their own businesses too. And funny enough, it was brought up about the slow start, and I was like, funny enough, I just had that conversation with my pops because we run our business together, and
Yeah.
he's always worrying about that. And it's like we do commercial. I know. I mean, you do like a mix of different things, right?
Yeah.
Because we deal with commercial, and there's like budgets and bonuses that they have to worry about at these the management and restaurants and all that. So they tend to not call December, January. Then business picks up because right now it's picking back up for us. But like there's always those couple of months that you worry as a business owner.
Yeah.
If it's going to be slow and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, and it's completely different being on the business owner side of it. You know what I mean? Because like till the last 2 years, you work for somebody and you always have somebody feeding you work. You don't really have to worry about those slow times because like you're doing maintenances, you're catching up on maintenances, things like that. And I mean, all in all, everything's been pretty good. But like this is like technically my third year in business, and last year was good, really good, and I kind of expected, I guess, that 2024 is going to start off better, but it's just been kind of slow. So it's been a little frustrating, and I'm just trying to, figure out ways to, I haven't really advertised, so I'm trying to figure out like the best ROI on like advertisements and, trying to just get more bids out and stuff, because like people are out there, but, I have noticed like a lot of people kind of trimming back a lot. You know what I mean? Like I was taking care of a building for the last 2 years and I resubmitted the same quote. I only increased it like a couple $100 because we added a couple of ductless units, and they're like, yeah, we can't commit to this amount anymore, so, we can do like half. And I'm like, well, we can do like 2 trips a year, you know what I mean, instead of quarterly. So it's like I've noticed even like reoccurring customers are like kind of trimming back and stuff. So it's a little frightening, but I think it feels like it's kind of picking back up a little bit. So I feel like we're, getting close to spring. So,
hey man,
hopefully
in that summer that everything picks up. But
I think we make all of our money in the summer, and then
you just kind of fill out the rest of the year. Well, for us, we dealt with that a lot. The whole like cutbacks, like I said, the budgets and stuff like that, to where, because maintenance has always been a big thing for us, because we do hospitals and restaurants, right? So we can get them on a little maintenance. I don't like to do the whole contract thing. Like we don't do that, but it's like we do an agreement. We do them maybe twice a year. And then recently the hospital that we've had them forever. Try to treat them good, right? We have a couple of customers that are like loyal that have been with us since we started. We started in 2007. So like some of them have been around for a long time. And when we started, they wanted so much maintenance, right? So we were there like every couple weeks, every month. Like it was crazy, especially at the hospital. And then, not too long ago, especially with all the COVID and everything, like everything just stopped. Like for them, they were doing what you said, like, we can't commit to this, we can't pay this anymore, there's budgets here and there and whatever it was. And just recently it started picking up where they want us doing like quarterly stuff. So like it's coming back. It's always going to be like a up and down type of deal sometimes, and you never know. We had to learn very early on not to put all our eggs in one basket, because we used to do like chains, like one chain with so many restaurants. We would like only cater to them, and then like they would drop us because a maintenance guy can do it cheaper, right? Or they get somebody that does it cheaper, and then it's like, oh crap, we don't have any work. So like you said, you just got to put yourself out there and get different things going.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I think it's just the nature of probably most businesses. There's always going to be an up and a down. It's just being like a new business owner. It's like uncharted territory for myself, so it's uncomfortable. And so like
we were there, like, yeah, because you said 4 years, right?
3. This is like this is technically the third. The third
year.
Yeah,
that's still brand new. And if you're doing
if you were doing
well, if you were doing well up until or the first few years, I mean that's really good, because we had a good or okay start, got pretty deep with like different mistakes, losing money here and there, and then we got out of it. But I mean, it like I said, you're still brand new, so a lot of this is new to you. Coming from the technician side, I know that's a hard transition.
Yeah, dude, there's been a lot of days where I'm like, bro, I mean, like, maybe you're not a good business owner, you know what I mean? And I'm, because like I get down really hard on myself. So if I'm not busy working and getting work or taking steps forward in any, however big of the step is, as long as you're making progress, like I feel okay. But there's like days where I'm like, you feel like you're doing everything right, but you just keep getting kicked in the teeth. You know what I mean? And those are some tough days where I'm like, bro, like you should just go back to the union, but like, I'm like, I don't want to do that. That's not like in my heart. That's not what I want to do. You know what I mean?
No, and I mean, I've had it good because my dad started this business. Now it wasn't HVAC. He does something else. He does the cooking equipment and stuff like that. So, that's how he started. And I used to work at a grocery store before this. So like I've had it good because this was my foot in the door for the trades. And I can't go to working for somebody, even if we struggle. And my dad's like, I don't know, you're going to have to look for a job or this and that. Cause we've been pretty low. With us. Cause like we hired too many people at one time and the money wasn't coming in and stuff like that. And I'm like, man, but I don't want to leave this side of it either. It's tough, but like I get to do my own schedule, to do my own thing, pick my own work, stuff like that. So I'll never leave it. It's just it's a little bit of a, it gives you stress, gives you headaches, late nights, all that stuff.
It would be, I think it'd be really tough to go back to work for somebody else. Like I told myself when I started this thing, like I would absolutely have to fail completely where I couldn't pay my bills, to do it. But like, I'm almost there sometimes where I'm like, is it worth, it's a totally different kind of stress, right? But like you just said, like one of the huge benefits is like, choosing your work, making your own schedule. Like one of my favorite things to do is be here when my son wakes up, you know what I mean? And I get to see him in the morning. And like, I would not get that going to work for somebody else, you know what I mean? And so I'm like, I try to think of those things to try to make it worth it. But yeah, so.
It's tough, man. It's tough. I was going to ask you if you had kids, cause that's my biggest thing is like, I have two. So like being able to see them every day, not working crazy hours or anything. And of course we have long days sometimes too and all that, but like you still get to see them. I get to pick up my kids and have them for a little bit after they get out of school and, all that, like getting to go to their events if they have anything going on, making the time for them. I wouldn't give
how old are your
man.
kids? I didn't even know you had kids.
Yeah, man, I got a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old.
Dang.
How old is
you been putting in? He's 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was a big thing too. Like when they were, well, the daughter is she's 8, but she's my girlfriend's daughter. So my son, like when he was a baby, like that was precious time too. Like yours is still young too. It would suck if you're just like working yourself into the ground and not seeing them grow up, dude. Like,
exactly.
So yeah, they're 8 and 10. They drive me nuts. I'm surprised right now that it's actually quiet.
Yeah. I got 2 dogs and a 4-year-old, so the house is usually
I got
dogs here too. Dog steps, kids fucking running back and forth, and it's good though.
Yeah, it's a whole thing, man. So your business or what you do now, is it a mix of residential and commercial?
Yeah. I mean, if I had a choice of the two, obviously I would choose commercial, but residential is a lot easier to come by being a new business. You know what I mean? Like I didn't.
Oh, that's true.
I didn't honestly. When I started my business, I had a lot of contacts in the commercial world, and everybody's like, "Yeah, dude, you should start your own business, and we'll hire you." Blah blah blah. And I think every one of those like fell through. All right, I see how it's going, and I get it now. You know what I mean? Because budgets and whatever, but I get enough like commercial, and right now it's probably more residential than commercial, but like I'm trying to build that commercial side because it's just a lot more enjoyable for me personally.
Okay, so you're a
You know
commercial
what I
guy, because
mean?
I get a lot of guys that come on here that do residential, and that's what they swear by. And I'm
Yeah,
like, I don't know, man. I'm more partial to commercial. That's what I love doing.
yeah, yeah. It's got its own bullshit with it, but the thing with residentials, I mean, money's tighter, right? You know what I mean? So it seems like you're always like money is the main focus of everything, and I get it, money's important, but also like you probably see it just as much as any of us in HVAC, like all the hack stuff we see. You lose bids to the cheaper guy, and then you're back there fixing their stuff. You're
Yeah,
just costing yourself more money, down the road. Like you know what I mean, to save yourself $2,000 or whatever. But when you get the good residential clients, it's great. Money's quicker, you get paid quicker. You know, uh, there's a lot of cool people out there, but I just feel more at home when I'm on a commercial building or, dealing with ladder accesses and rooftop units and, VRFs and water source heat pumps and stuff like that. That's just where I feel the most comfortable.
yeah. I was gonna say, being on that rooftop, that's what I like doing too. Just being on the rooftop, working on I do more refrigeration stuff, so I get a lot of walk-in boxes and stuff like that. And I don't know. I feel like it's also more challenging. You see a more variety on the commercial side, and it's always fun for me. Like I love doing the commercial.
Yeah, it's definitely more challenging for sure. Residential, I mean, for the most part, is pretty cut and dry.
And then now all the
But
homeowners want to do their own capacitors and stuff, because I keep doing those memes just to get some
yeah,
reactions, and they go crazy. I can
yeah,
do that. I can order it off Amazon and this and that.
I went to this service call this morning, and this woman, I've been to her house, and she had some, I don't know if it's her boyfriend or whatever, and I'm like walking out the door. I just got there, checked the thermostat, and then he's like, "Hey, do you guys install mini splits?" And I was like, "Yeah, dude, of course." And he's like, "Do you install customer provided equipment?" I'm like, "Absolutely not." And he's like,
Nah.
"How come?" And I'm like trying to explain it to him, and he's like, I just don't get it. And I'm like, I don't expect you to, but most people I know like aren't gonna install something that you bought off Amazon. You know what I mean? And then he came out to my truck after, and he's like, I just want to make sure like no hard feelings or anything. I'm like, I'm good, bro.
Yeah, like we don't care. Yeah.
I'm good, man.
Man, that was interesting. But you know what else is interesting? This podcast is presented by Local. Local works tirelessly to help HVAC contractors rank higher on Google. They use an attack methodology to make sure that contractors dominate their local service areas and increase their market share and generate higher revenue. Reach out to Local at localhq.com/reliable. Mention me or the Reliable HVACR podcast, and you'll get 2 months of SEO for free. Yeah, man, well, the mini splits are a big thing now too, like the Mr. Cool and all those that they buy. And I don't deal with
DIYs, but
residential.
they want you to put it in.
Yeah. I've heard of it. I don't deal with residential. I have to deal with that on the commercial side, because we deal with a lot of big chains. So like they have their own, or they order their own equipment. So I got to deal with that, where they buy the rooftop unit, and then we're the ones installing it, running the wires, everything like that. And I didn't like it at first, but my dad was like, well, we're a small business. We're only 4 guys. So like it's me, my dad, my brother, and my uncle. So at first he was like, you know what? That's just money that we don't have to tie up, ordering, because they would always order like a shitload of RTUs and stuff. It's like, I don't know if I want all that money tied up, and then, you got that net 30, 60, whatever, to get paid on the commercial side. So I was like, all right, I saw it, I was like, okay, we'll deal with it. So we have some that, and we have one that hired an HVAC guy just to oversee pricing, and they couldn't order like special equipment and stuff like that. So I've dealt with it on the commercial side, but it's not that bad. We still charge them pretty good on the labor and all the stuff that we do.
Yeah, I had a commercial building wanting to do that, and this was like my first year in business, and I was like, I mean, I knew it was a thing, but I never experienced it. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I'll install it, but like, I'm not going to give you any sort of like labor warranty if there's any problem with the equipment, right? Like I'm going to charge you because, I didn't purchase it and I didn't, do the install. And especially like my biggest fear is them ordering the wrong equipment or the wrong voltage or something like
Oh,
that. You
dude.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm like, I'm a little hesitant, but go ahead, but here's a contract to do it. Like nothing will be warranted. You know what I mean?
It's a whole thing. Like I said, we've done it, and one of our longest customers is the one that was doing it, and actually a few of them have, because we have a couple chains, but the one that we still have was ordering their own equipment and their own like stuff, so like they have to deal with the warranty too on that, because like something goes out. Like I said, they have an HVAC guy that buys it, so like I'm like, okay, I found this, and this, and then they got to order it or they got to claim it, all that. And then like, it sucks because they got to wait longer because there's different people that I got to go through just to get this claimed and get the compressor out or whatever it was. And dude, I tell you not, I don't know what happened. This was a new building. I don't even think they had been open like a year. Put in a RTU and it was a train. It had a variable speed scroll compressor, and it was not that big. It was like under 7 tons or something. But I sent them a picture of the compressor. I sent them the information off the compressor. I sent them the information off the unit. Like I tried to give them everything. And this is a 208 system, right? 3-phase standard stuff that I see. Friggin' box shows up. It's like super huge. It's an orange 540 volt. Somebody called it like an egghead compressor. I don't know what they are, but like I've never seen that. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, it's not gonna fit in the damn. It's not the same compressor. So like, I've dealt with them ordering the wrong stuff before, and it's like, well, not my fault.
It sounds like one of them train reciprocating, or I think they're those big orange ones.
Yeah,
on
I've
their
never
older
seen those,
units.
and I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, it was a scroll compressor. Pretty simple.
That's
straightforward.
That's the thing that worries me anytime customers are involved of doing that, and you're just like left to pick up the pieces or something. You know what I mean? And it's just, I know shit happens, but I'd rather not deal with it. I wouldn't turn away work if somebody's like, hey, dude, we got 7 or 2 or whatever rooftop units, we already got them. Do you want to put them in? I mean, like, yeah, fuck yeah, I would do that.
Yeah.
But in the beginning,
no,
I was like,
yeah, it's because we like I said, longtime customers, so we deal with their crap. But like,
yeah,
the issue we had at the beginning was like trying to give them a break or freebies and stuff like that. That's where we screwed up at the beginning. And I always tell people now, like, do not give anything away, charge for everything. We still charge for the time that we go out, even if they like that, if they ordered the wrong part. All right, I was here for an hour, billing you for that. And then when it comes in, I'll go back and bill you for the time for that. Because like they always want, and I'm sure you see it too, they always want like, oh, come on, cut us some slack, or this or that. And I'm like, you can't do that. You'll go out of business like that.
Yeah, exactly. You get that a lot where people want stuff for, discounts and stuff. And I think probably anybody that starts a business runs into it, and they probably learn, some quicker than others. But I learned pretty quickly, like, those are the jobs that where you like do people favors or discounts that bite you in the butt, right? And I'm like,
those end up being the worst ones. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm not doing that anymore. I don't mind giving you, a military discount or something like that.
Okay,
if they bring it up, little things like that. Or, there's just a lot of scenarios where, if I go to a call and it's close to my house and it was like something very simple, like I'm probably not going to charge them like my full diagnostic charge, right? Because it's like in and out, I mean, it's not a big deal, but most of the time it's like you just got to stick to your guns and send the bill.
every now and then, like if you want to be nice or do something, and then like maybe that helps you later because then they call you back for something, like, yeah, that's cool. But like if the ones that are asking you over and over like for stuff and you give in all the time, like that's where you get screwed. Like I don't know, we dealt with that a lot too.
Yeah.
So like your company, do you have anybody that helps you out, or is it just you? I think I saw your wife was helping you too.
Yeah, my wife was working for a little bit when we were busy enough to
Okay.
afford to pay her. But I have a buddy who's been in business for 25 years, Mark, and we kind of use each other as subs. He's a small shop. He's been around for 25 years. Um, and it's funny because he was following me on Instagram before I started my business. And once I started my business, he reached out to me and he's like, "Hey man, I've been following you for a while, blah blah blah." And then he had me come help him, and he's
Oh,
really good at sheet metal and install and stuff. So like anytime I have like a 2-man job, we just basically, hey, can you help me on this job? And we just kind of sub each other. For the most part, I want to get to a point where I can hire a guy. And like last summer, I hired 2
yeah.
temps for that VRF job, and my wife was helping. And then, up till like December, I was slammed, and I'm like, how am I going to afford to get another vehicle, tool it up to have somebody? I would like somebody to do the installs, right? I just want to handle the service and like the business side of things as of right now, and have like a guy that can go out and install. Um,
Yeah.
but I'm like, how do I afford that? And then by the time I figure it out, bro, like the work, I didn't have enough work, to keep these people. So that's another
Yeah.
stress is like when you hire people, I'm like, then I'm gonna be up all night trying to figure out
Dude,
how I'm gonna, get
we've
work
been
to
there.
pay them.
Yeah, we've been there. We had an issue with payroll at one point where it's just, and that's the issue. I had somebody else on that we talked about it. He made a good point. He's like that he would only assess his company, like if there was a need, for helpers, he would assess it during the slow season, not the busy season, right? Because like busy season, you feel like you need like a whole bunch of help,
Yeah,
and you have so many calls to run, and
yeah.
then the slow season comes, and you're like, well, I don't need them anymore, right? So like we had that issue where we didn't need them. We had to tell them, start looking for other work because we can't afford you in these months, right? Like winter, start of the year, stuff like that. And it's hard, man. So you're a one man show then.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. But that's pretty smart though, dude. That's a good little ticket is, base it on your slow times. Because
Yeah, when
like
he
you
told me
said, when
that, I'm
you're
like,
busy, you're like, I could hire 10 guys right now when you're slammed. Like,
I know, like I feel like I had it somewhat figured out, and then he said that, I'm like, oh shit, that makes way more sense,
yeah,
if you
yeah.
put it that
So
way.
I'm trying hella hard now to like get people on maintenance agreements for like this slow time. Because I know in my career, everybody I work for, like you're you're always backed up on maintenances because of service. And
Oh
then
yeah.
when it's slow, then you got all these maintenances you catch up on. Or you go do an early maintenance because you're slow. People are like, hey, it's like a month early, but we got an opening. Like, yeah, come out. So, it's just like part of starting a business. Like there's so many roads to make a complete business, and you don't really know about them until you get in the business, right? Like I thought
Oh
I
yeah.
knew enough, but like every week it's like new. You're like, oh shit, I didn't know that or whatever. I didn't think of that. So just trying to, get more maintenance agreements and, do some
Yeah, man.
advertising and stuff.
Yeah, because like the group, the HVAC nights, I have Curtis on there, and he's a one man show. He does his own stuff. He just subs out when he has like installs or change outs to do, and he hates maintenance. I'm like, dude, but I don't know, where the area that he's in, he gets a lot of no cool calls. And right now he said it was like slow for a little bit and then it picked up. But I think he's in Georgia. But like that's what we do too. Like our maintenance is what keeps me, like I just got done doing 20 something ice machines, drove me nuts, but it was steady income, right? Big account. And then I had an alert come through that I have it's a chain that has like 18 stores, and their AC maintenance is up too now. So I'm like, oh crap. I hate it, but it's steady income, it's guaranteed money, and that's what keeps us busy. And
Do you
that's a
guys
big part of
build?
it.
do you guys bill for your maintenance agreements? Do you bill quarterly, or do you bill like, pay me it's 3,000 for the year and then you get it all up front?
No, like when they come up, that's when we build them. But it's one of them is twice a year. There's a new one with the ice machines. It's going to be quarterly. That's what they wanted, though. It's a hospital, and like I said, when they come up, that's when we build them. I've never been a contract person, like getting people under contract or doing like the official agreements where you get the money up front. But I think I just had that discussion with somebody, and that's another option to do too. Like,
It's those contracts, like for us with maintenance agreements, are pretty. I mean, I think it's more of just like a peace of mind, because those guys could literally cancel that, like, unless you have some clause that says like,
some of them
you
do.
you gotta give us a written notice within 30 days or whatever the case, but most of them are. I mean, I remember just my experience. Like, I don't have one. Like, I don't have any clause. Somebody, they pay me up front for the year. If they cancel, then I mean, I should probably actually, now that I'm talking about it, I should probably put a clause like, hey, if you cancel, then there's whatever, fee involved, and, things like that. So it's just one of those things with business, that you just kind of figure out. It's not something that you probably will ever think about till it happens.
Yeah, that's the other thing that I hate doing, is because I just want to run calls. I hate doing the business side. I hate when I got to block out time to be on the computer and do that stuff. But
that's what I've been doing. I just went and gave all my tax stuff to my CPA today, and I'm like gathering all that stuff up, and I'm like, luckily I'm better in my first year, because I had it like every time I got something that was like a 1099 or something to do with the tax, you know what I mean? I put it in a folder, so at least like when I finally got to the point, I just took it to her. But like the first year, it was chaos, bro. Like I didn't know what to do.
No, man, I'm the same way. I'm still pretty bad about it, but it gets done.
Yeah.
But no, when we started, I had a customer actually ask me for a maintenance agreement, like a contract. I was like, I don't know, I've never done one. I don't know how to do this, and try to make it, the best I could, figure it out. This was like when we first started, like over 10 years ago, and I was still new to all that. But like, I figured out kind of quick that I didn't like the contracts, because then they might hold you to it, right? Too. And I'm like, some of these customers, like after a while, like you just don't want to work with them anymore. And you know how people say fire your customers and this and that. That was always my thing. When I do the contract, I was like, I don't want to be stuck with a bad customer either, because then some of them would hold it to us like, oh, we have this agreement, this contract or whatever. But you learn as you go. You were talking about like union and stuff like that. Like, how did you get into the trades? Like, what was your way in there, your foot in the door?
Oh man, I've told this story, I think, on every podcast. So some people probably hearing this will probably have heard it, but for the people that haven't, like through my adolescence, teenager, high school year, like I was always, super mechanically inclined. I'm working on my cars and, and stuff like that. And I always had a curiosity about like how my refrigerator worked, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was in my senior year in high school, and I was doing AutoCAD drafting, and I was like really good at it. And the recruiter from UTI, Universal Technical Institute, they had a program in Phoenix, California, Chicago, and Florida or something like that. But they came, and they came to recruit me for AutoCAD. And then the guy, I don't know if he just saw something in me. He's probably like, this guy's not a computer. This guy's not a guy that's going to sit on a computer for 8 hours a day. He's like, he goes, do you see yourself sitting on a computer all day long? And I'm like, no, I'm young. I'm like, I didn't think that far ahead. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, no, that sounds horrible. He's like, well, what do you think about refrigeration, HVAC? And I'm like, oh, dude, I've always been interested in. He's like, well, do you want to do the HVAC R program at this school instead of AutoCAD? I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So I went down to Phoenix, got my associate's degree from UTI, and then got that done, got hired out of school, and then started in like this company back here in Washington. They were like, residential light commercial, and they did a lot of refrigeration too. So, I worked on ice machines and beer coolers and all that shit, in the beginning, and and that's how I got started in it.
So then how long was your schooling there?
It was a year. It was 2 years crammed into 1 year.
Okay.
You went like full time. I think it was like 8 or 10 hours a day, like straight.
Oh damn.
And they just get you in and out.
Well, was it like
it was a good program though, man.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, was it a good program? Like, did you get a lot out of it, like hands-on stuff like that?
Yeah, it was really good. It was a lot of hands-on, and I thought it was a great school. I'm not even sure. I know the school still exists, but I don't even know if they have the HVAC program anymore. I know they do. It's big on like marine and like kind of gearhead, car stuff,
Yeah.
They might have that program still in other locations, but I'm pretty sure they stopped it at that Phoenix location.
So then, like you said, growing up, you were into like mechanically inclined. So you worked on cars and stuff like that?
Yeah, just like, my buddies were gearheads, and I work on my car and build little stupid shit, like a fucking a subwoofer box for my car, when I was in high school, and doing all that. And it's always worked with my hands, you know what I mean?
Oh, that's cool, man. Because some don't. Like I was more into sports. I don't know. I wasn't that good mechanically. So when I got into the trades, with my dad, that was kind of the first go at that. But after that, I started getting into like, I want to work on my car. I want to do this. And I've done so much work to, a few of my cars. I even have which I've been really bad about, but I have a 1963 Pontiac that I've been trying to fix up. Like, it runs pretty good, but every time I get it going, like something else happens to it. So it's a fun little project car. And I've gone into it more because of getting into the trades. I want to do more things, fix more shit.
Yeah, it's fun, man, and especially with HVAC, because it's like you really have a lot of different trades rolled in to HVAC. You know what I mean? Like, we do electrical and plumbing and refrigeration and comfort and cooling, and I mean indoor air quality. It's just like there's so many avenues. So like, I mean, if you like working with your hands and stuff, I mean, you could do 10 different things in HVAC and be like, I hate this, I don't like this, and you might like doing controls, you know what I mean, or you might like doing refrigeration or whatever, kitchen equipment.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say you could even be a salesman or whatever you're good at.
Right? Parts guy, something.
Whatever.
Sheet metal.
So do you like everything that you do, like all those different like aspects of your job that you were talking about? Like no, you don't.
No, I mean, not like doing my own like business and stuff. Like I've been like a service guy my entire career. Like, I've done installs, helped out with installs, more like wiring and running pipe and stuff like that. But like the whole shebang, like of a furnace change out, AC, heat pump, something like that. Like I honestly like don't enjoy it. There's parts that I enjoy.
Yeah.
But like when I started, I'm like, man, I don't like this, right? But like maybe I just need to give it time. So now I'm fast forward. I've like been doing it for 2 years, and like every install I do, I still dislike the same stuff, and I still enjoy the same stuff. I lean towards more the service side of an install that I enjoy.
Yeah.
But like, there's a lot of it I just don't like, but it doesn't affect like my pride that I take in my work. Even if it's the shittiest situation, I'm like, I still can't cut corners, even though I'm not enjoying it. I'm like, you have to do a good job.
That's the way I am too, because I love service. I love being able to fix something. Like today we had a change out that we had to finish, and like I wasn't like I liked piping it in and kind of doing some things here and there, but I was just like, man, can we like be done with this? Because like I wasn't, that's not the stuff that I like to do either. Matter of fact, I sliced my hand a couple times, but it's whatever, right? You get it done, like you said. You do I made sure that my lines were good, my wiring was neat. I still do all that stuff. I'm the same way. I don't like doing the installs and stuff like that. I don't know how the guys like Jeff and Mike get so into it over on like Instagram. I'd much rather do service.
Yeah, and it's funny because like it seems like most cases you're either enjoy service and hate install, or these install guys love installs and they hate everything to do with service.
I remember hearing Jeff talk about it where he's like, I ran a few calls and I hate it. I don't know how you guys do it and this and that. I was like, I don't know. I love running calls. I love going to different locations and, different units and stuff like that. That's what I love.
Same, dude. I love, because I get so bored so easy. So that's what I like about service is like, even if you did 3 calls in a day, like you're still driving, you're seeing different stuff, you're tickling different parts of your brain. Like the install is, the application changes, but over and all, like for the most part, it's repetitive. You're doing the same kind of stuff every time.
Yeah, and to the point where obviously like those guys that I mentioned, like they get so good at it, right? Because they do it all the time. And then like, I mean, I'm not trying to say service is better or anything like that for anybody listening, but like I feel more challenged. I feel like there's always something to learn and always something to do. So,
Yeah, one thing for me personally, like probably the biggest skill that I lack is sheet metal. And I think that's my like Achilles heel when it comes to like retrofits and stuff like that, because like Jeff and like my buddy Mark, I mean, they can just take measurements and fab a transition of whatever they need. And I'm like what? Like that, like I wish when I was in the union, I'm a service guy, all their like continuing education was all sheet metal stuff, right? And I'm like, well, every company you work for in the union, like you got the service guys, you got the sheet metal guys, you got the pipers, whatever. So like any time you needed that skill, like you can just be like, hey, I need a sheet metal guy. I never really had to like learn it. And then I started my own business, and then you really will like see your weaknesses, right? And I'm like, fuck, man, I should have learned that stuff when I had the chance.
That's the crappy part, because like me too. Like I got out on my own pretty quick too. And then I'm like, oh shit, I don't know how to do this. I gotta ask somebody, or I don't know how to do this. I gotta ask somebody. And that always was the worst for me when I had to go and like start asking people for things, because I can't do everything, or I didn't take the time to kind of get good at that kind of stuff.
Yeah. It's just something I never really like. Yeah, I never like, I always want to start a business. I never thought more than like, I want to start a business. You know what I mean? I never thought much more ahead of that. My first, like, I think about my first probably like 6 years in the trade were non-union. And then I got into the union. When I started to try to get into the union, it was right around the recession, in 2008. So they weren't taking any apprentices. And then, so I just like filled out the application and they called me. It was like 2013 or 2014, I think, when I went into the union.
I always get asked about union versus non-union for like a lot of the guys, the younger guys. So like you've done both. Is there anything you have as far as an opinion on either one?
I think a lot of it is your area. Like my area, unions are super strong and the package is great. That same union in Montana isn't as strong, or Arizona isn't as strong. So I can only account for my area, the Seattle area, and it's great. There's a lot of benefits to it, with obviously the pay and the benefits are a huge thing. But like, the training they offer, and, I got one thing that I never knew about, like, is, during COVID, I broke my ankle in my backyard, like playing with my dogs and my kid. Right. And then
Oh, I was like, not at work.
no, not at work. And they had some program that paid me temporary disability while I was out of
Oh,
work for like 2 months. It was about as much or maybe a little more than unemployment would have paid. So it was enough to pay the bills, things like that. And it's nice to have protection. Like I had an issue with an old employer of mine that I won't get into it, but like, the last thing I wanted to do is get a business rep from the union involved, but like you have that protection, right? Like the union's there to protect you from the employer, really, when it comes down to it.
okay.
And general contractors, safety, things like that. But there's a lot of stuff. They're good. You feel like when I was in the union, I felt protected, right?
No, it's just because I get asked a lot about that, and I'm like, I've never dealt with that, so I just wanted to ask you really quick on that.
Well, and I wanted to, when I started my company, like I planned on being a union contractor, but like I didn't realize like it's not set up for small shops. I'll tell you that. It is so expensive to be a union contractor. Like just for myself would be like, I mean, it changes because their CBA is ending this June. So they're probably in negotiations right now for, a 3 or 6 year contract. So the wages is going to change, but as of right now, just for me, you're technically an owner member. So you're paying for all your hours up front. It's like almost $7,000 a month just for myself.
Damn.
And I'm like, how can I can't commit. That's like 3 of my house payments. Like I'm a new business, you know what I mean? And maybe one day I'll get big enough to where, I'll be able to do it. But right now, it ain't in the cards.
So I got to see you in person at the AHR Expo. I can't remember which one.
I think it was Vegas. Was it
That's when you
Vegas?
Yeah.
I've been to Atlanta, Florida, and Vegas.
Okay. It was Vegas or Atlanta. I went to the last 2 before this year. This was my 3rd year going. So you have blown up quite a bit on Instagram too, man. Like, when did you start, or how did you start posting on like HVAC content? Because like that wasn't a big thing, a few years ago either.
Yeah. I started, I think probably like around 2016-ish, I want to say.
Oh yeah.
I just was like, I had an Instagram that I just posted random dumb shit, you know what I mean? And then I just, something clicked one day. I was like, I'm just going to change this into an HVAC page and, just post my work because I was like super passionate about it. I'm like, there's got to be other people that are passionate about it, right? And then
was there a big group back then, or
no, dude, it was like Flynn. I think Flynn, me and him met. Like I won his giveaway. I think I won his 1K giveaway or like a 2K giveaway. So like back then, there wasn't much, man. Like, it was like HVAC reefer guy and Mike Flynn and that's when I met like Lance at Solderweld and stuff. And I mean, it was pretty bare, you know what I mean? And then it's really blown up in the last, I'd say 4 or 5 years.
I don't remember what you were at a year ago. And then like I recently looked at it. I'm like, holy shit. Like it's doing pretty well. And you're just, like you said, you're just posting, the stuff that you do, the work and all that. And that's the cool part, the people enjoying, the work that you do.
But that's really how you grow it. It's just like you've been doing really good. It seems like over the last year, just like posting a lot, you know what I mean?
So
and
hard.
Yeah. So and like, that's the thing. It takes a lot of effort, to post on a daily basis.
Like when I started it and then I started talking to people and following everybody, like I don't see that here locally. Like the supporting each other. It's always like competition here. So it was cool to see other guys that took pride in their work, did all this cool stuff, and then helped each other basically. So that's what I liked about it when I started mine, and it's doing pretty well.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, the community is great. Just the trades in general, like with the Instagram thing. I remember when I start the Instagram, you know, I would still kind of post on Facebook too, but like Facebook is harsh, man. Like,
Yeah.
like it's a different ball game than Instagram. Instagram's like way more supportive, and like Facebook is just like mean, dude.
I found that TikTok is very similar to Facebook too.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
hard.
So it's cool though, but like, you know, it's you get to meet a lot of cool people, like from manufacturers and tool companies and other tradesmen and stuff. Like, you know, when I started mine, I never would imagine, you know, doing shit like the HVAC tactical awards and, you know, all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Like it's pretty sweet, like what
Yeah.
Ben's doing and stuff. And he's bringing a lot of awareness to how cool the trades are.
It's crazy because a lot of people have that on their radar now, like the awards show and the group that's there and all that, and to a point where he has like a lot of companies that want their tickets too, and they want to be in that room and experience it because it's a really cool thing.
I'm older too, so I'm like kind of getting to that phase where I'm like, you know, it's still fun.
Yeah, because I did mine like recently where I was trying to post like a lot, right? Because trying to build it up, it's a lot of work. I always tell people like I don't know, you don't realize the time that it takes to put in all this stuff, because like sometimes at work I just want to do work. I just want to get my stuff done. That's why I don't record a lot of like my change outs or installs or anything like that. Like I just want to get the work done, make sure I do it right, you know, stuff like that. But I do get messages sometimes, and I don't know if you do too. I'm sure you do, like of somebody that watches your content and they enjoy it, or it helped them here, or you know, you make a friend or anything like that. Like you said, you had a buddy that you work with that was from Instagram, right? Like stuff like that is really cool. And
yeah, that's the stuff that I like, you know, when you get stuff like that, like the real people that you really helped, or they enjoy like a little message like, hey man, I like, you know, watching your content, keep it up. You know, it's just little things like that I like, you know, the most, you know, out of it.
It's like another job, man. It gets to you.
It totally is. And then like, because then you get all this content, and then like, you know, I mean, your YouTube channel and some other guys that do the YouTubes, like I tried to do when I did the GoPro, like I tried to edit and stuff, and man, it would just take so much time. And I'm like, I got other stuff I want to put my time. I'd rather put my time into like training or reading books, you know what I mean? And
yeah, because I just had somebody where we were talking about that, because he does TikTok, and I was like, it's because, you know, the big thing is we don't get paid for that stuff. So like that's on our own time, our own money basically. So it's different. It's hard.
Well, and like I noticed, and I'm sure other people have noticed too, is like I put a lot of time into some videos where you're like, dude, this thing's gonna kill it. You know what I mean?
Man.
And then like it don't even pop off at all, and then you just record something real quick, slap something together. You know what I mean? And then you're like, that one gets
I was
1,000 likes or something, and you're like,
I was actually gonna ask you, the one that popped off for you was that label with the marker, right?
Yeah,
that was like super simple, like, you know, little tip, and that's what blew up.
Yeah, it's crazy, you know what I mean? Now it's funny, I've seen a lot of people post videos like that now too, and I'm like, I don't want to say I started because I'm definitely not the first guy, but like
I'll admit I did it once, but I'm like, I'm doing this because Jamie did it. I was like, I'm trying it out. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't like, you know, copying, but I was like, I wanted to do it because I saw Jamie do it. But I have noticed there's people that try to replicate some viral videos like that.
Yeah, it's all good, dude. It's to help people, you know what I mean?
But
there's a lot of ways to do it, but
it's to your point. Like I've done that too, where I'm like, this video is going to do so good. I put a lot of editing into it, time into it, and then it flops, right? And then like the one like that we're talking about is where you can't read the label, you use a Sharpie and kind of rub it out, and you can see it, right? You did that really quick, and it's like millions of views, right?
I don't even know.
You don't even know that you what you got?
No, No, because I think I originally posted it on TikTok. I think
Oh,
maybe Instagram. I don't know. I easily go and look, but I know. I mean, last time I even saw it, I know I had quite a few, but I haven't checked it in a while. If it's got millions, then that'd be crazy.
it's a big
But I
video.
think it's like, I think it's those things that like the organic nature of things is like people can feel it through your videos, like when it's organic. And I think people can catch on when things are like forced and stuff, and it
Or like
just
too commercial like or something.
yeah, like too many edits and too many transitions and things like that. It's just I think I just like doing
Yeah,
things organically. I think works the best.
yeah, like me, like I've always liked photo editing, and I've been good with computers, and I got into video editing. Like that's kind of like the hobby part of why I started, content and stuff. And even myself, I see people posting, and it gets on my nerves because I sometimes I critique a little bit, and I'm like, that is way too much music, way too much editing, way too much transitions, like you said, like just doesn't come off, good. It's just the more organic stuff is what I like to.
And I think I judge too, bro. Like I think one of my biggest pet peeves is when somebody has music when they're talking and like they don't turn the music volume like
Oh
down
yeah, that
enough,
gets to
like
me all the
where
time.
like I'm like, bro, like I can't even hear you. I remember I posted it one of my few YouTube videos I posted. I had music playing, but I mean I turned it way down and
Yeah.
all pretty much all the comments were like, lose the music. Oh, another video with music, like they want to hear what you're saying, and I think even if the volume's down, like people have a hard time focusing on like what you're saying.
Yeah, that stuff gets to me too. And I don't know. That's another thing for me is I have to watch my own video, whatever it is, like a few times over to make sure that I enjoy it, or like I don't think it's like boring or shit, basically. And then like, yeah, music, that's a hard one too because it doesn't go with everything. I get annoyed too when people have the super loud ass music, but you know, good to know I'm not the only one critiquing out there.
No, no.
All right, man. So, a lot of young guys watch this show, the podcast and stuff like that. The what I asked the last person that I had on here was like, if you had to hire somebody or you had a helper that wanted to come on, like, what are some things that you're looking for in a helper, or you would give advice to, somebody starting out?
I mean, it obviously be somebody who showed up, number one, and then like somebody who wants to learn, is eager to learn, and somebody that's like teachable. You know what I mean? Somebody that asks questions because like a lot of people are too scared to ask questions, or one thing that I know from just my career and stuff is people are very scared to be wrong or ask what they may think is a dumb question.
That was
And I'm
me.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm like, dude, like my entire career I've always asked questions. If I don't understand something, I ask a question like, why is this that, or why is it doing that, or if it's something like a call I go to and I don't, like I figure it out, like I get something fixed, but like I don't quite understand it. Like, I mean, I'll go home, I'll be searching on the internet, for manuals and things and to try to understand, things. But, definitely for the young people, just show up and work hard and ask questions and, because it's hard to find these days, man. A lot of people want to be paid big
Oh yeah.
bucks for not knowing anything, and
I get asked that question a
it's
lot, like what is the starting pay, or how do I get more when I start? And I'm like, you gotta get into it first and then work your way up and get the knowledge and experience. Like nobody makes high pay when they start. I mean, that's just the
yeah.
truth.
Well, and that's the thing, like where there's pros and cons of the union gig because like the union's a set structure of pay. Like you
Oh yeah.
start out at say $25 an hour for the first year as your first year apprentice, and then once you second year, then you get a raise every 6 months till you journey out. But like one thing I know I didn't know in the beginning was like say the journeyman wage, I think, is at like $62 an hour right now for the union that I was in. That's just like the minimum that you can get paid. Like the employer can pay you more. You just have to ask for it. Like
Oh,
they can pay you above scale.
yeah.
I mean, my last 3 jobs I was making over, scale, because they could see that, you're knowledgeable, like you deserve it. Like nobody's gonna pay you $70 an hour or $65 an hour if you're like having all these callbacks and you know you're not making the company money. Like, so it's just like you gotta learn the shit, ask questions, like
Yeah, I mean that was an issue I had when I started, and I didn't like asking questions like that. I don't know. I was just stubborn about it, but I would go look for the answers on my own. But like still, once I realized that I could ask people or like even talking to manufacturers, I hated calling tech support, but like we all got to deal with it. Just find the answer or find a way to do it. And that's when that's when my career went for the better. Like once I realized that, I had to ask questions, I had to do all that and just get better that way. Like you're not going to know everything. You're not going to be able to do everything on your own. And, that's a good point. Have you trained helpers at your
I
business
mean, not
or in general?
not in my business. I mean, I had some help from one guy that actually left me to go to the union, but he was a good worker. But he straight up asked me like, "What would you do?" I'm like, "Bro, I would go to the union, man. Like, I can't
Oh,
compete.
yeah.
I can't compete with it, dude. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna be straight up with you. I'm not gonna hold you back."
Are you somebody like when you had an apprentice or a helper, do you explain it as the call goes through, or would you rather ask at the end of the call, or like
I
them
explain it
them ask?
as I explain. I explain as we go. This guy that went to the union, like, I would be like, this is what we're doing. This is why. This is what it should be doing. This is blah, blah, blah. And I like teaching. I can't wait for the day where I actually have my own apprentice. So I have enough work to keep them busy and I can, like, they can just ride around with me and I can really, like, teach somebody.
Yeah, man, I kind of want that too. I don't know. I've gotten asked that on like Instagram and maybe my YouTube, like, oh, can I ride along with you and this and that? And I'm like, well, it doesn't work like that, right? There's a liability issue and this and that.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I've
but
had people ask me too.
I was like, I would love to, like that's a cool, aspect of it is being able to take somebody and train them and show them what you know. Like I would love to do that at one point, but right now we're a small company too, and my brother is the last person that I got to train. So like, we're good for now. All right, man. Well, we're around an hour. I don't want to keep you too long. You mostly are on Instagram. I don't know if you're doing anything else at the moment, but I'll leave like
No, not
your
really.
I'll leave your
I mean, I have a
info in the
TikTok. I
description.
don't use it a lot. I have a YouTube. I don't use it a lot. It's kind of one of those things where I'd like to do it more, but I'm more comfortable with Instagram and
Yeah,
too
like
many
if anybody,
platforms. It's like it's too much, right? You know what I mean?
it's so hard, dude. But yeah, if anybody needs to reach out to you, I'll leave I'll leave a link to your Instagram in the description.
Yeah,
All
and
right.
then I mean my company Elevated Mechanical.
Oh yeah, you have a Instagram for
So
that too, no?
yeah, it's in my Northwest HVAC profile, and then I have my link tree that for my website and other stuff.
Oh, then I'll put the link tree in there too. That way people can find you and all that if they don't know who you are, because you're
Yeah,
pretty big on Instagram.
yeah. Thanks.
All right, man.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for having me on, man. Keep killing it, bro. You've been doing a good job. I've been watching you over the last year or so. It seems like you've been doing a lot, a
I
lot
don't know
more.
why I decided to take on a podcast, but I love sitting down with people because this is the only time like that I'll get to talk to somebody like this. So I
Yeah,
appreciate you. I appreciate you for coming on and taking the time, man. I know you're busy.
yeah, dude. No worries, man. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. So everybody watching and listening, I appreciate you guys for tuning in and coming out. And I see you guys next week.